Nadia.
And I'm Eleni.
And welcome to
Sisterhood Social,
where we talk about anything and everything under the sun. But today we're talking about things we missed from our childhood, and we know that you probably missed them too. Our first bullet says school, but it's not necessarily school itself.
I'm not really missing the whole school experience.
Yeah,
but
not the homework and the teachers. I mean, some of the teachers.
I mean, I had some, I think, good experiences in school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't all bad, and I had, like, a lot of, I don't know, I guess, high points with all my extracurriculars and stuff, but as far as school goes, like, I think I just missed that, you know, innocent time where you didn't have responsibilities. And, or, you know, your job was going to school.
Yeah, your job was going to school, and, like, your day was already planned out. You know, like, you have some type of structure, which I feel like they don't prepare you enough when you get to college and you don't have that kind of structure. Like,
when you're out of college.
Yeah, or when you're out of high school in general, like, you don't have that type of structure anymore. And I know a lot of people who kind of, what's the word, like, they don't know what to do with themselves and, like, how to like actually plan. And I fall into that too, because, like, I'll wait till the last minute to do things, and I procrastinate a lot, and it's gotten worse as I've gotten older, and especially, like, as I've been out of school, because I have not found a way to actually organize myself better. And
yeah,
that's something school does for you.
It does. I mean, it gives you a purpose and a structure to your day or your week, and I think that, I don't know, when you're out of school, it's really hard. And
yeah, it also makes it easier for you to, like, see people too. Like, you make friends easier in school.
That's the thing I really miss about school, is that, you know, when you're in school, it's so easy to, like, find friends. I mean, it's not easy to make friends, but it's easy to find them because they're there.
Like, everybody in your neighborhood is there.
And when you get older, you know, you find friends, you can find potential boyfriends and girlfriends, which I wouldn't really recommend, but, you know, I think we all have, like, you know, a high school boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, but that's another episode. I think what I was trying to say is that I just miss having, you know, a bunch of people around me and a place to meet people, because I think we were talking in one of the prior episodes about how it's impossible to meet people now, which is very
true.
It's very true. And then, you know, also when you're a kid, you don't realize how much responsibility your parents are taking on and how much they're doing, which now I really know and I really appreciate, because, wow, if you're a parent, I empathize, because you do an endless amount of work. Go you. Because I am exhausted, and I have more respect for my mom, especially as a single mom and everything, because it's hard. But
I can imagine. I mean, I understand from, like, growing up with my mom.
Yeah. And my mom did so much, and I just didn't appreciate it, which I think everybody can say that. But it's like, you know, she was doing everything, and regardless of how she felt emotionally or physically, and you just keep pushing through. Like, this is what I find so amazing, without getting too sidetracked, is that I just find it amazing how, regardless of how, you know, crappy you feel mentally, physically, you're financially stressed, like, whatever it is, like, you just keep doing it. You keep getting stuff done. You keep moving through life, which is, you know, simply put, it was something that I thought was impossible for a lot of years. But
I mean, like, the globe keeps turning.
Yeah, you know, and now, you know, I'm doing everything, and I'm super, you know, pretty responsible, I would say. And, you know, my daughter is pretty happy and healthy and all that good stuff. But, yeah, now it's weird, because I think right now, I think the reason I wanted to make this episode with this topic was because a few days ago I was having kind of a low point, a little dip in mood.
She was having a moment.
I was having a moment about just being sad about my childhood in a way, or, like, grieving it, mourning it, like, mourning the moments and the things. I feel like it got really quiet. Anyway, yeah, I was just grieving a lot of things about my childhood, and now it's weird for me to be, you know, a grown-up and have a kid, and now, you know, watching shows that I used to watch as a little kid, like, with my daughter. It's just weird. It's really weird.
No, I understand because my brother is 7 years old and he watches some of the stuff that like I used to watch, and I'm surprised sometimes, and it's weird like what the takeaway is, and it's also weird like watching it as an adult and like grasping more of the concepts, because I don't think we realize how much goes over our heads when we're kids. Like, we're still laughing at the jokes and stuff, but there's like a lot of underlying tones that we miss when we were children.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I was just, my computer is on like 55%. Anyway, but yeah, no, there are a lot of jokes and sexual jokes, I think, in like kids shows that you definitely didn't realize, but I don't know, I just miss like the innocence of childhood, and through all my therapy all over the years, I learned about kind of like inner child work, which is like a real thing. Because sometimes you just need to like tend to that side of you again, and I find that important,
I still watch like the Powerpuff Girls. I still watch Scooby-Doo.
You watch a lot of cartoons.
I watch a lot of cartoons. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, I watched TV too, but like it wasn't always on my own accord, and there was a lot of things that I couldn't watch.
I mean, I was just telling you, I got 30 minutes a day is when I thought my mom would be like, oh yeah, you can watch the new Sweet Life of Zack and Cody or the new That's So Raven or whatever, but like you get 30 minutes, and you run to the bathroom during those like 3-minute breaks, and that was all the TV I got. But
I kind of miss that a little bit, like running to go get snacks, like in the middle of a commercial.
You just don't do that anymore. Yeah. You have the snacks before you sit down.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like it's weird. I was gonna say, I saw this TikTok the other day of a clip from The Sweet Life on Deck, and basically, I'm trying to say this in a short way, is that I saw this TikTok about The Sweet Life on Deck, and it was talking, they were in Italy, basically. They were at this restaurant, and they were trying to make a reservation, and the person that was taking their reservation said, oh, I can squeeze you in at 7:30 in something 2023 or something, and then, I don't know, they were like, oh, that's in 15 years, and then, I don't know, this was going around TikTok, but it was weird, like, what I'm trying to say
we're gonna have to find this video.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense, but basically they were referring to a date that was 15 years from now, and it was basically like this year or next year, and it was just, I don't know, it was a weird mental time warp kind of thing, because it's like, wow, that was a long time ago, but I don't know.
Was this from like a show?
Yes, it was from The Sweet Life on Deck.
Oh, okay.
The spin-off from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Because I used to watch, That's So Raven, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana, and all the Disney. Because I was, like, more of a Disney Channel kid. I feel like, I don't know, were you a Nickelodeon kid? Cartoon Network?
I watched a nice blend of Cartoon Network, blah, 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 blah.
We can't talk.
Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Disney. I definitely was more into like Disney movies than I was into the shows.
Yeah.
But like I definitely watched Cartoon Network. I would say like I watched Courage the Cowardly Dog. I watched. I didn't watch Ed, Edd and Eddy. That was one that I was like weirded out about. And then Scooby-Doo, of course, because Scooby-Doo is an OG. All right, that's.
She still watches that.
I still watch Scooby-Doo. I love cartoons still. Like I still watch all the Disney movies when they come out. I watch all the Pixar movies.
But you always have something to say about the Disney stuff that comes out these days, right?
Yeah, I mean.
She's a critic.
I wouldn't say a critic, but Encanto came out on Christmas, I think, actually.
And it was like unpopular opinion. You thought that like nobody could sing and all this other stuff.
Yeah, Louisa couldn't sing. Maribel couldn't sing. The only people that I thought could actually sing was Dolores and Peppa, maybe. But
you think it got too much hype?
It got a lot of hype. I mean, it's a good movie, but it got way too much hype. Same with Frozen too. Frozen got a lot of hype, and it was not given what it's supposed to give.
It's not the same as watching TV in the early 2000s. It's just not.
I mean, I think it's not the same for us because it's nostalgic for us. Like, we were kids during that time. I'm sure the kids growing up now are, like, in love with the movies. I mean, my brother was in love with Frozen, still is in love with Frozen.
Is he still, like, really into that now?
Maybe he doesn't watch it as much as he does now.
Because you said he was really into Paw Patrol, but he's out of that now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's watching these days.
I don't know. He was watching SpongeBob at one point. SpongeBob was also another one. I also watched Nickelodeon too when I was a kid.
Yeah. See, this is the weird thing for me is that, you know, kids have tablets and phones and stuff because this was not a thing for us. And so I feel really old saying that, but it's like, I mean, we didn't. Like, we had a small TV, and I was allowed to, like, either be on that or be on the computer playing, like, my computer games, you know? Mm-hmm. It was a different time. But,
it was a different time.
You know, my mom was very, like, strict about that, and I didn't even get my first phone until I was, like, 14, 15 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I only got a phone because I only got a phone in middle school because I had to walk to school at the time.
My mom didn't want me having one, like, at all. And the only reason she let me have one was because I got stranded downtown after orchestra rehearsal in middle school, and I was, like, stuck there with some other girl, and nobody came to pick us up, and we were, like, wandering downtown as, like, 12-year-olds, and we went into the candy kitchen and, like, was like, can we use your phone? And then my mom was like, okay, maybe she needs a phone, but I'm going to make her work for it. So then she made me, like, have, like, a whole chart, made me do all these things perfectly for a month, and then let me have the phone. And then when I had the phone, she took that away all the time. All the time. Like, after I got it, I never had it. Because, like, she was like, every night, you know, you put that out in the living room, it stays out there, and then anytime anything happened, give me your phone. Like, I don't know. Like, these kids having their own phones, their own tablets, that is just unfamiliar to me.
Yeah, and the thing is, we couldn't even really do a whole lot. It's not like we could go onto the internet with our phones.
Yeah. My first phone, I couldn't, because back then, you know, you had, like, an iPod Touch and you had a phone.
Yep.
Like, that's how it was. And I'm so serious. Like, I had my little, like, Cricket Pago phone that I needed cards for, and then I had an iPod Touch, and, you know, your iPod Touch was more useful, but you needed the phone to call people and text people.
Yeah. You could, like, listen to music on your iPod. You could play games on your iPod. You could, like, if other people had an iPod, then, like, you could text whenever you had Wi-Fi. But even back then, like, Wi-Fi was not as abundant as it is now. Like, there was definitely only a couple places you could actually use the Wi-Fi function.
Yeah.
And then, what?
It was really crazy, though, and it's so weird to me that kids have these things so accessible because I didn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, this was even in high school. Like, when I got into high school, I got my first iPhone, but my mom still had some pretty big restrictions on it. And now I'm like 4 iPhones later, so now it's been a journey.
I switched from iPhone. I'm sorry, Android gang all the way.
Yeah, let us know. Are you iPhone or Android? Which one?
Or like
start a heated debate in the comments.
Please do. Because I got a lot to say about Apple and technology anyway.
But that's not this. That's not this episode.
It probably won't even be an episode. It'll just be a tweet for me.
Oh yes. This is why I don't engage with Twitter that often. I get on there to say I did, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me, and I have a child, and I mean she's 1, but I just don't feel good about getting her a tablet. Or
please, let the next generation or our generation who's going to have kids, like, please don't give your kids tablets. Like, that's the worst thing my mom did to my brother is give him a tablet. Because, like, they are attached to that thing. Like,
and you were like, I didn't get that.
I didn't get that, but, like, also I'm glad I didn't. Because I still got to, like, play outside and enjoy some of the
Does
hobbies.
he do that, your brother? I don't think so.
No, he don't go outside. He don't like the outdoors.
He doesn't like pants either. He doesn't wear pants in the house, so he couldn't possibly play outside because then that would require him putting on clothes.
Exactly. You don't like putting on clothes.
Yeah, he greeted me at the door today with no pants on.
With just underwear and a shirt on.
He wanted to be our director, but that's he's a funny kid. But yeah, and then I think we also wanted to just talk about our hobbies and our after-school activities because I didn't realize how many activities you had like I had a lot.
Yeah.
My mom always had me in so many things, but I didn't realize you did so much stuff.
Yeah, I was like really into like drawing and art. I mean, I still am. Like, I still like post stuff on my art Instagram and stuff. But that's something I had to get back into. And when you're an adult now and trying to like foster your hobbies, one, a lot of times it's expensive, like depending on what the hobby is, and two, like you just don't really have the time for it, and it kind of sucks because that's something that you used to enjoy, and that was the one thing that I really liked was doing art. I liked doing hair. I liked playing the saxophone, which I wish I could have played the saxophone a little bit longer. I even liked Taekwondo, and then I was also into sports too because I was in track, and then I was also in cheerleading.
Yeah. We didn't do it together, which was so stupid.
Yeah.
I wish we did, but
we didn't do. I did it sophomore year, and then you did it junior year.
Yeah, I guess that was what happened because my mom always had me in a bunch of stuff, and I don't know if that was just like something that she did, or she didn't get a chance to do, or she just wanted to let me do these things. But yeah, my mom always had me in something. Like, she had me in everything from gymnastics and ballet and swimming and circus school, aerial arts, swim team, cheerleading, piano lessons, cello lessons, orchestra. Like, it didn't end.
Yeah.
And theater camp, and like my mom did so much. And you know, I do appreciate it though, because now I realize that that's stressful, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of, you know, driving your kids to certain things. But you know, I think she did it so that I could enjoy my childhood and remember it with like good memories. And also, you know, it keeps your kids away. It deters them from doing bad stuff too. So if you're trying to,
that's true.
you know, keep your kid out of, you know, the bad things.
All the bad things in life.
I mean, it was good though, because like it did work. You know, when I was in high school, I was a pretty good kid. I really didn't do anything.
And I also like enjoyed some of the after school stuff. Like, I was in Boys and Girls Club back in middle school, and I really enjoyed it. And there were a lot of, I got into Skippo that way. If you guys are not familiar with Skippo, it's like Phase 10, and if you don't know what Phase 10 is, I guess you could say it's like Uno. It's a little bit of a stretch, okay? But Skippo is my absolute shit. I love that game. And we had Skippo tournaments when I was in Boys and Girls Club, and I really miss that because nobody wants to play card games with me.
Yeah, you really like card games.
I really like.
I think you've tried to get me to play Uno, and like I don't even know how. I don't remember. I mean, like I used to play at one point in time, but I don't think she wants me playing games with her like that. We don't do that. We just talk.
We just talk. I mean, that's what this podcast is. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
Is through talking.
But I mean, it seems like we did some similar stuff with, you know, the music, and I did cello for like.
And I was also in chorus too. I forgot about that. I was in
chorus
that,
for
like
that
7 years.
Too. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it did, but
I was in chorus for a really long time, and then I came to Frederick, and I was like, I don't want to do chorus anymore.
I don't know. I was never a choir kid, but I did have cello for like 10 plus years. And I did a lot with that. I did a lot of lessons, a lot of orchestra. I did audition-only orchestras. I just went on a lot of auditions. Like, it was my dream at one point. But not my dream anymore. But, you know, the sad thing is I said when I was a kid that I never wanted to be one of those adults that said, oh, I used to play blah, blah, blah instrument when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like I'm that person. But also, I didn't play it as, like, a hobby for a year. I mean, this was, like, my life. And I was doing a lot. Mm-hmm. And not to like toot my own horn here, but like I was first chair. I was, you know, a little bit more. I was a little bit more, you know, advanced than all the other kids. It's fine. Yeah, and oh yeah, I sat next to that really cute guy in like 9th grade, Andrew. I don't know if you know him. I'm gonna say his name. I'll bleep it out.
Listen. Nobody knows who this person is.
I mean, I think he's engaged now. He doesn't remember me, but anyway, there was this guy. And he definitely liked me, but I, you know, my like 15-year-old self just went over my head. But yeah, I got to sit next to like some really cute, like there's always really cute guys playing the cello. I'm just saying. It happens.
Are you sure about that?
He was cute. The other guy was like super gay, and he was just like a girlfriend to everybody in the orchestra. But anyway, you know, in our high school, like it was it is like a performing arts, like artsy school, and they have, an advanced art academy there.
Yeah, they definitely had more of a budget for the arts.
Which I appreciated because other schools, they only are willing to like fund the sports and football and blah 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 and like.
No, they would not. They would not be making any money if they funded our sports. We weren't good at it.
I feel like everybody in sports though in school, they just like thought they were the shit, but they really
did.
They really weren't. Like it was crazy. I don't know. I feel like everybody walking around in a cheer uniform or a jacket, like you meant something, but it's like you really didn't mean anything.
And especially at our school, like if you were in the arts, like the theater people were really the ones running the school.
They were, and they were mean. They were mean. Like
they were the mean girls.
I would not expect that the theater girls would be mean, but they can be really mean. And I did not.
And a lot of them are show-offs.
Yeah, they are, and I didn't even fit in with the art crowd, like my crowd, and it was like really uncomfortable. And there were the girls that were just belting out songs.
That was really deep into.
Sorry, there were some girls. I'm not gonna name any names, but I think you know who I'm talking about. She would sing.
I think I went to her house one time for a project like.
And she played piano.
She played the piano and started singing, and I was just like, "What in the world? We're supposed to be working on science."
I'm not surprised though, because she was so like that.
But I kind of miss all of that, those interactions. I mean, maybe not so much like the mean girl interactions. I never had anybody be like super mean towards me from the art community at that particular school.
I had it happen in cheer though. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I had two girls gang up on me, and then it became like this whole thing. I became scared, and then the coach addressed it in front of everybody. It was very intense. I mean,
that part of school we don't really miss. We don't miss the bullies. We don't miss the hard times. We miss our hobbies. We miss being active is another thing too. Like I feel like when you're in school and you're in all of these clubs, even in just like band or something, you're definitely a lot more active than the majority of Americans that are adults.
And I thought about doing like color guard. I kind of wish that I had done that. Maybe, I don't know. I had a friend that did that. And I just wanted to do more, and I feel like I didn't, but I guess I did. I was in a show, I was on the swim team, I did cheerleading, I graduated, I had, my high school boyfriend. I experienced some stuff, but I guess I don't feel like I lived my childhood the way that I wanted to, or especially my teen years, because I kind of got the ages and the activities in which you're supposed to do things a little bit messed up. But it's fine, It's okay. Like, I just don't even realize, like, how old I am or how many years have gone by until I'm like, 24, 25 years, like, that's a long time.
It was a long time.
And you have a lot going on all of those years.
There are probably going to be people even that watch this and you're like, oh, you're only 24, 25 years old, you're still young. Yeah, we're still young, but there's still been a lot of time that's passed. Like, if you just think about even in, like, world events and how many things have happened within the last 25 years. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I feel like they still think of you as like a young adult at 24, and I'm like, I'm not really a young adult. I mean,
it's an awkward age because especially when you're still living at home too, like
nobody considers you an adult. Like I went to see somebody like 2 years ago to hang out with like an adult who's older than me, and she was talking to someone else about me in front of me. It was like, oh, I have a Lenny here who is a young adult. And I was like 23. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Young adult, like 18 to 20, I feel like. Maybe even to 21.
And people are calling you like a young lady from the time you're like 12.
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean? What am I? Am I not going to be an adult until I'm in my mid-30s? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, no, they definitely start. They definitely start calling you a young adult at like 12, 13. And so it's weird when you still get called a young adult at the age of 24.
I'm not young. I have a kid, okay?
Like 12 years have passed. When am I going to be an adult?
Never. Never, ever. But I think two more things we just wanted to hit on because we're already getting kind of out of time and my computer is low back. So I think one thing we just wanted to say really quickly was about losing touch with friends and seeing them again as an adult and how that's awkward because I just ran into a girl from middle school at, I don't remember where it was like Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just there, and she's like, oh, hey, Lenny, I haven't seen you since middle school. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she was like, oh, you have a little one now. And I was like, yeah. And then
I feel like everybody knows your business with social media now.
It was just so weird, and I was like, yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time. I don't know, it's just, it's
I
really
had a
weird.
similar interaction when I went to school. Like, when I went to my college, I actually met somebody that I was friends with back in elementary school. And, like, since elementary school, I transferred to, like, 4 different schools. So, like, it had been a long time that I even remembered her. And I saw her in college, and I was just like, whoa, like, I haven't seen you since the 3rd grade. And I was just like, oh, yeah, and we just never talked again. And I was like, I know some weird things about you. Like, where all of your birthmarks are. Because, you know, kids, something happens to you and you're like, oh, look at this. I got this scrape on my elbow. And, like, you're showing everybody everything. And, like, I remember certain things about her, and now we don't talk. And
yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I feel like I've had moments of reconnecting with people. Like, I don't know, it was probably like 2-3 years ago. I went out to like one of the bars actually with a girl that I knew from like middle school, I think. Yeah. It was just really weird. And then I also saw somebody even from high school again, which even though it wasn't like a long time ago, it still really
feels
strange.
like a lot. Yeah.
And it's like you try to kind of like reconnect and make these connections again, but then you realize like it's just gone. And my mom, gotta love her, but I will say, you know, she's just the type of parent that kind of encourages me to reconnect with people. Mm-hmm. And I get it, but it's also like, you know, I have an issue since I had a child too, you know, with people wanting to reconnect, or, you know, my mom being like, oh, but they miss you and they love you and they want to see you. I'm like, do they? Do they really?
They just know that I have a baby. They just want to see the baby.
Yeah, and then, you know, my mom is also just like with certain friends of mine, you know, she's just like, well, just because you lost touch doesn't mean that, you know, you can't be friends again. But I don't know, like, I just get so awkward when I lose touch with people for years and years, and then we're just going to reconnect.
Yeah, and
hard.
Especially awkward now, too, through social media, because you don't really know what the other person's intentions are. I thought I was reconnecting with an old friend, like, from college, and she just wanted me to be on her team for an MLM, which I want to talk about scams in another episode. But yeah, she just was like, oh yeah, let's meet up. And I was like down for it, because I was like, oh, I haven't seen you since you moved to Florida. And she's just like, yeah, no, we should definitely catch up. And then next thing you know, I'm in a presentation for Amway with her upline, and I'm like, oh, this is not good.
You can talk about MLMs another time.
I can talk about MLMs and scams.
But I've had that too. Like, people will message me first or something and say just like, hey, or how are you? And then I'm like, oh, I mean, fine, how are you? And then they're like, oh, you should check out this and you should become part of my team. And I'm like, no. I mean,
we don't need that.
You know, thanks for offering, but no thanks. I don't know. People are just kind of irritating, but yeah. And then I think you just wanted to hit on like Halloween holidays really quickly because we are running out of time. Just wanted to say that we kind of miss the holidays. I mean, you know,
as a child, like when everything is fresh and new, like especially Christmas, you got maybe not all the presents you wanted, but like you got pretty decent presents as a child, or at least you got more than one, hopefully. I mean, that's not the case for everybody.
I mean, like for me, I got good presents and presents that I always liked, but my mom also, I think, valued experiences over gifts, which I do appreciate, and I think, you know, I want to do that with my daughter because, you know, I don't remember all of the material items she gave me, but I remember, you know, all of the vacations and when we went, you know, out of the country to India and to Greece, and I don't know, all the musicals she took me to and all the trips we went on and all the Disney trips and the New York trips. I mean, I don't know, like she did a lot, and I think experiences do have, you know, I don't know, a lot of benefits to them over like the material items. But the cool thing about being a mom too is that you get to relive your childhood, you know, kind of through your kids' eyes and see the magic of everything again. So it kind of comes full circle eventually. But
Yeah, I'm waiting on that moment.
Yeah.
We'll pause for me.
Yeah.
But
I guess
do that.
You just kind of miss all of those events and those times. Like, I feel like when, you know, I was a little kid, like, I got together with my family more and I saw my extended... Whoops.
The clip only lasts 30 minutes.
I was like, what is happening? And my computer's at 30%.
I can't even move
What's
your
happening?
mouse.
Where do I go? Here?
Record, yeah.
Okay, well, that was annoying, but we were talking about, really quickly, because this is definitely about over, but we were talking about holidays and missing those times, and like I was saying, when I was a little kid, we got together with my extended family and my cousins, like, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have, like, never seen them in a long time. I saw, like, I would hang out with my one cousin occasionally, and then I saw my other cousin out one night, but I don't know, like, I don't have a big family. I don't know, a lot of people just passed away when I was really young, but it's like, I don't know, we did so many things as a whole extended family, and it's like, once all of the adults don't have little kids anymore, it's like it doesn't matter, and I'm like, why is that? That shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, I definitely hung out with my cousins a lot more when I was younger during the holidays, and I miss some of those interactions, you know, playing in the basements with all of my cousins.
That.
Yeah,
you would always play in the basement.
You always play in the basement.
Like, the kids would have the kid table, and you would eat, and then, you know, the kids would go and run off and play, and, you know, the adults would chat for hours until you're like, can we go? And your mom would be like, no.
Not yet. Or they'll be like, oh, we're going to spend the night.
Ugh, that was the worst. I'm not going to do that to my daughter. But.
Yeah. One holiday that I really missed out on as a child, we're going to hit this, like, real quick. I can't even talk.
I can't believe I didn't bring my laptop charger either. I'm assuming you guys don't have one, so we got to speed it up.
Yeah, it is Halloween because, you know, my grandparents are really religious, and when I was younger, like, Halloween was a Satanist holiday, and, like, you're worshiping the devil. I do appreciate, you know, my grandfather giving us, like, candy on that day, because he was like, oh, well, all you're doing is just dressing up and, like, going and knocking on people's doors for candy, and I was like, well, that's part of the fun, you know, and having those parties. I never got to go to any of them.
So you still got candy, but you couldn't do all the
I still got candy, but
can't
like I was inside, yeah. And
my mom didn't do that, luckily. I mean, I still got to trick or treat and everything, but I think when I realized I was too old, like, I kept doing it for a long time, and then when I saw, like, my friends handing out candy, I was like, oh, I guess this is not a cool thing for me to be doing anymore. So I don't know.
You had the Halloween parties.
Yeah, but those are so lame. I don't know. I mean, I never went to, like, a real Halloween party. I never went to a real party, guys. But, you know, I don't know. I don't think it's, like, all that exciting.
It's not. After you've
Halloween
been to one Halloween
really.
party, especially as, like, adult.
I kind of just over it.
Yeah, you go to one, you've been to the majority of them.
But I have a lot of things to say about holidays, too, but I think that definitely needs to be another episode. So I think we're going to just end it here.
Yeah,
but
thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, and you'll, you know, still can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. And subscribe, like, leave a comment, do all the things, and we'll catch you